I want to show you how Armstrong says that we should put the darts together and have one dart slopers for the skirt front and the skirt back. So this instruction says that we should measure the dart intake of both the back and the front. So these are approximately 1 inch. So we'll say that's a 2-inch there. And these are approximately 1/2 inch and 1/2. So we'll say that is 1 inch. So we have a 3-inch combination. And when we divide 3 and half, we know that we have 1 1/2 inch take up that should be put equally in each of these. So the way that we are supposed to do that is to find the center between these two darts, and I have measured that, and that turns out to be 3/4 of an inch. I'll add a right angle to the hip line. I'll draw straight down to the hemline, like this. I'll do that on both. And I've already measured that this is the center between the two darts on the skirt front. At a right angle to the hip, I'll draw this line. And my next thing is to come down 4 1/2 inches on that guideline to here, 4 1/2. And I'm now to make a dart that would be 1 1/2 inches wide. And that'll just barely work out here. And I'm going to make that very soft line because I want to use this sloper to show you some other things. So that would be my one dart here in this pattern. And then I'll come down here 1 1/4 inches, 4 1/2 there. And I want this take up to be 1 1/2, which happens to just fall right there on the dart legs also, exactly like it did in the back. And now this is my dart, my single dart for a 1 dart sloper in the front. In the front and the back, supposedly looking just about the same. So I showed you on the paper how this was done, and now I've made a tag board about that. We have combined the darts so that we have 1 dart in both the skirt front and the skirt back. We have determined that the intake of all the darts in the skirt, front and back, came to 3 inches, and that we should divide that so that we had 1 1/2 inch intake in the single darts, these 1 dart that's in each of the skirts. Then Armstrong tells us that we should come down 4 1/2 inches for the dart tip for this dart, for each of the darts. So that's where I have drawn the darts to. And that goes right on the guideline that goes clear to the hemline. And you should mark that a guideline. Then Armstrong also recommends that you have other pivot points. You're very commonly going to be using this 4 1/2 inch as a pivot point, but they have recommended also that perhaps you would want other pivot points, and they would come down 1 1/2 inches apart. The reason that we're creating these 1 dart slopers in the skirts is because then we can use those as a quick pivot for when we're making other skirt patterns. And you can see I used the 4 1/2 here, or I could use the 6 inches down. I want to show you how this sloper that we created with 1 dart could be used for the pivot method, and the textbook talks about that, page 243 to 244, and they call that the flared skirt with a 1 dart sloper. So I have placed it like this, and I think you can see what I have done, even just since I've already done that. Traced like this to where I get to where the guideline is. Here's my guideline, and I've marked that point A. Then I have pivoted, and until my guideline touches B. As you can see here. My arm could have been in the way for me to see that, but then I've gone ahead and continued to trace, and you see those lines in red. Continue on until I get to here. So that has closed that dart. You can see where I started and where I stopped by that red mark. So here we have the pattern then that's been done with the pivot method with the one dart sloper that you saw me do some pivoting with, and that we had a space between where we had stopped the pivot and where we started tracing the pattern again, and we measure that space, and then the book tells us to add more over here to the side seam to where it joins to the widest part of the hip.